Welcome to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we have today is the Nishida Shidogami, or white number 1 Kurouchi Nakiri 175 millimeter knife. So this knife has a 3-layer construction. In the center, the hardcore cutting edge steel is what's known as Shidogami, or white paper number 1. It is a reactive high carbon steel, so it's not stainless or semi-stainless. The cladding on either side of that to make a 3-layer construction is soft iron reactive cladding. So the whole knife is reactive. There's no stainless or semi-stainless in the construction. On this cladding, they've got what's known as a Kurouchi, or blacksmith kind of protective finish. And then they've got some food-safe lacquer on top of that as well. That will wear away as you use the knife, or you can choose to strip it if you want to with acetone right off the bat. Your choice. So that's the construction. It's a hammered, kind of a hand-hammered knife, very rustic construction, a lot of blacksmith kind of character to it, so every piece is going to be unique. So let's take a look at the weight and dimensions. They will vary a little bit from knife to knife because of the way they're made. This particular one is 201 grams, or 7.1 ounces, so it has some heft to it. Heat treat should be in the 61, maybe 62 Rockwell range. It's not specified on the site, but that's typical for Shidogami number 1. The handle is oval rosewood with a black pack-of-wood ferrule, so ambidextrous. And nice fit and finish on the handle. They've got a good glue-up job here where the tang goes into the handle. So nice fit and finish on that. It's a nice looking handle. The edge length, usable edge length, is right about 170 millimeter from the heel to the curved part of the tip where you can still use it. Overall length, about 310 millimeters. And then the spine thickness, again, these are going to vary, especially coming out of the handle. This one's about 3.1 millimeters thick above the back of the blade, or the back of the heel. About halfway down, I got about 2.5 millimeters, and then it pretty much just carries that, maybe 2.2 to the end here at the top. The height on this one is about 54.25 at the back and about 55 in the middle. So I usually measure these in 2 points. You can take a look at the choil shot here. It's not a super thin blade, but it does thin out pretty nicely towards the edge. It's not going to be a goes through product type of laser, but it's going to have some heft to it, and it should have some pretty good food separation with the grind here. So you can feel that grind start right there down towards the edge, and so it will, it'll wedge maybe a little bit in certain ingredients, but also going to give you good food separation and good food release as well with the texture. So compromise there. Let's get a beauty shot. I'll just do this side. So let's see, balance point. Balance point is going to be a little forward because of the weight of the knife, which is not a bad thing on this style of knife. A little weight forward heft is good for a lot of people's opinion on this style of knife, this Nakiri style knife, for some cutting power. So it's pretty close, maybe a little in front of the pinch grip for me, but so pinch grip will give you a little bit of weight forward balance to it, and that's again a good thing on this type of knife. Gives you a little chopping power. Fit and finish is pretty good on these. They've rounded the edges of the spine a little bit. They've polished and rounded the edges of the choil quite nicely. Out of the box, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Part of that, it's got lacquer, which could go all the way down to the edge. I did strop this a little bit, and it got pretty sharp pretty quick, so you'll be able to sharpen this thing up quite easily. Almost nothing sharpens as easily as a Shidogami number 1, so this will make you feel like a sharpening champ. Nakiri knives are actually pretty easy to sharpen because they don't have much curve to the edge, so you don't have to really lift the handle too much except towards the tip. You can work on that. Tip is kind of rounded a little bit, but other than that, they're pretty easy to learn how to sharpen on as well. I guess let's look at the left side of the blade. We've got some embossed kanji there. So again, some of this shine is the lacquer finish on it. And then here's the right side of the blade. It's a little hard to tell, but this part here is the cladding giving way to the core steel. So that darker part right there is the shinier parts of the core steel. So these are ground pretty thin at the edge. Let's take a look at the cutting board profile. So here's what it looks like on the cutting board. Different Nakiri knives will have different profiles. This one's pretty doggone flat, so a lot of people do like a flat Nakiri. It's quite flat. The tip is rounded, so you can rock really easily, although it is flat. There's not really a curve going into the heel, but you can definitely rock these things as high as you want because the tip is rounded. So that's one of the good parts. So yes, you can rock a Nakiri if you want to. And definitely this will be a great chopper. You can do push-pull cuts, glide cuts with a little bit, but it's definitely the forte on this one is going to be the chopping motion. So again, different Nakiri knives will have different characteristics to the edge. This one is definitely a flattish profile, or at least typical of this maker. So this is a great knife to learn how to sharpen on. It will get super stinking sharp if you do your part. It will get screaming sharp. And it's just got some nice heft to it, a lot of handmade character to it. So this is the Nishida Shidogami #1 Kurouchi Nakiri 175mm knife from Chef Knives To Go.